What's up, duelists? Two videos in one day? What the heck? Two videos in one day? Yep, that's right. That's right. I gotta do this video. I gotta talk about the brand new modern Yu-Gi-Oh! Ban list and what it means for Edison format, because it actually has some pretty serious implications for Edison format and for alt formats moving forward. First off, let's just cover the ban list. Let's just talk about what was and wasn't banned and talk about what I think their thought process might have been behind the decisions. And then I'm going to talk about what I think this is going to mean for, alt formats and stuff as well. Okay, so first things first, they banned Fairy Tale Snow. This card is really good, but did it need to be banned? Maybe. It was a little oppressive. It gave decks like Dragon Link and Branded Despia and Terra Lament. It just gave decks that like put a lot of cards into the graveyard. Curious decks. Pretty insane interactive piece that's a little bit hard to deal with. You can't exactly Forbidden Droplet or Dark Ruler no more Snow very effectively. You can Droplet it, but it's awkward because you have to wait to Droplet it until after they've used their other cards more or less. So it's like a layered interaction. It was pretty busted. So seeing it banned, not the most ridiculous thing. Ronin Totem getting banned makes sense. This card probably should have never been printed. This card is just disgusting. Reusable resources like that are they're inevitably going to become a problem. I mean, this card's been a problem card throughout the history of Yu-Gi-Oh since 2010. So seeing this card get banned makes sense. Makes sense. Crystron Halka Fibrax also makes sense. This card homogenized a lot of combos. I'm pretty cool with seeing this card get banned. It's a little bit busted. It's a little bit busted. The way you could abuse this to get to access code, the way you could abuse this to get to like your next Link 4s or like insane, it's just a really good card. Oftentimes you'll be using tuners like Rocket Synchron or sorry, not Rocket Synchron. Is it Rocket Synchron? What's the Jet Synchron? That's the one I'm thinking of. Like Jet Synchron or tuners that came out for free, like Destrudo to make this card. And then on top of that, you'll just be getting free resources. It's a way to go like plus infinite more or less, and it's just not a healthy card really. Not a healthy card. Pretty happy it got limited. Pretty or not limited. Banned. Pretty happy it got banned. The next one is actually really sad. Chaos Ruler, the Chaotic Magical Dragon. In my opinion, I think this card is very fair, especially with the banning of Snow. You have to spend two real cards to go into this card, and you get a recursive body, and you get a potential draw one. But the fact of the matter is, this card is not like insanely busted in the same way that like Crystron Halka Fibrax is, and it also wasn't really doing all that much. This might have just been a preemptive ban so that they just don't get crazy like mill your whole decks in the future. But at the same time, it's pretty sad because I am a Dragon Link player and I do enjoy Chaos Ruler and what it brings to the game. Next banned card is Red Reboot. I don't know if I agree with this. I would personally like to see Red Reboot go to 3. I think what Konami should really do is focus more on trap cards similar to like Infinite Impermanence, Evenly Matched, that kind of thing moving forward, and focus less on Floodgates. The issue with Red Reboot getting banned is it just makes Floodgate decks better. It makes decks that play trap cards a lot better, and those decks are inherently not that interactive. They're inherently pretty boring, especially in a format with like triple Solemn Strike, triple Solemn Warning, all that shit. I think that that's really whack, and that you don't have a way to play into those cards going first now without Red Reboot, or going second now without Red Reboot. It's kind of cringe. I know Red Reboot's not the most interactive card, but you can Solemn it. You can 7 tools it, Kappa. I think it's just one of those cards that did it really need to be banned? I don't think so. I think having it at 3 would have been better than having it be banned. That's just my personal opinion. You'll notice that they did not ban any spell cards or any other trap cards. There are a lot of trap cards that I think definitely warranted some consideration. One of which I think is Trap Trick. I think that card is busted as hell. I think that card just gives you extra access to trap cards that maybe you shouldn't need. It's one of those cards that I think eventually will become broken, and it limits the trap cards that they can print in the future. That card should have maybe been considered for a ban. And then I do think cards like Rivalry of Warlords, there can be only one. A lot of floodgates in the format that are very uninteractive and lead to blowout games that are it's just not fun. You're not playing the game at that point. You're just flipping a floodgate and hoping your opponent didn't draw the out, which is really annoying. I think a lot of those cards are similar to Royal Oppression, but like even more oppressive to a sense in that they're not one-sided, or they are one-sided in the decks that they're put into. So I think that those definitely should have been a consideration. Maybe not banned, but at least for the limited list. We'll get onto that in the future, but there's nothing limited. And then, of course, the big fucking thing that you're expecting to see in the spell cards, Mystic Mine. Dude, they didn't ban Mystic Mine. And, okay, I'm going to be real with you guys. I personally really like Mystic Mine. I really, really like Mystic Mine. But let's talk coverage. Let's talk, casual player. Let's talk new player. None of these people are going to enjoy Mystic Mine the same way I do. I enjoy Mystic Mine because I'm a sadistic fuck. But let's be real. Most people don't enjoy that card. And that card is very easy to exploit. And it's not a good card for the game, man. It's not a good card for the growth of the game. Let's be real. When you have a YCS finals being dictated by some guy who just happened to have 3 Mystic Mine in his deck and some wave motion cannons and whatnot, like that's insane. Mystic Mine won the majority of the YCSs in the last few, I suppose, the last season or so, and it's only going to get more and more exploited as people have more time to really focus on, dedicating stuff to that card. Yes, the best decks right now, Sprite, Terrament, they have ways of dealing with it, but I think that that's not really a good argument for leaving a card like Mystic Mine legal. It's a huge mess. And what that means for Edison format is we're going to probably see a lot of new players for Edison format in the coming months. People are going to be sick of this shit. They're going to be sick of fucking Sprite. They're going to be sick of Mystic Mine. They're going to be sick of the Floodgates. And they're going to pull up to Edison format because they're going to want to play something that is competitively supported through OTS Time Wizard, that has a huge player base. You guys see it in RBET. And then also doesn't have cards that are completely uninteractive. Even if you consider cards like Royal Oppression or consider cards like, I don't know, Trap Dust Shoot in Edison format, they are at least interactive to a degree. Unlike Mystic Mine, unlike, whatever Rivalry of Warlords versus deck that loses to it, unlike There Can Be Only One against deck that loses to it, unlike Dimensional Barrier, some of the cards that I think should definitely be limited or banned or whatever, there really isn't that much of that in Edison format. There's really only, like even Royal Oppression, even the most oppressive Floodgate in Edison format, most decks are maining outs to it. Significant number of outs to it. Most decks are maining Space Typhoon, Heavy Storm, and then some combination of like Icarus Attack, Raikou, Phoenix Wing Wind Blast, Caius the Shadow Monarch, a ton of ways to main out to it. And then you can also still play the game under Royal Oppression. You can also still normal summon monsters, which is still a big part of Edison format. So you don't have that Floodgate like I win button play in Edison format as much as you do in modern format. And I think we're going to see a lot of modern players get sick of it and just pull up to Edison format and start trying their hand at that. So the no Mystic Mine ban is huge for Edison. It's huge for Edison. It's like kind of a cascading effect where like Konami announces OTS Time Wizard. That means they probably know that some of their ban lists are going to be shit this year. They plan this shit out in advance. I have to imagine like they knew Mystic Mine would not be banned this year. Like I have to imagine it. Like that's got to be in their brain somehow. I don't know. Okay, onto the limited list. Steam the Cloak, Blackwing Steam the Cloak was forbidden and is now limited. Blackwing support, that's big. Blackwing deck is going to be pretty good. Cyberjar was forbidden. Another just casual like old school card getting put onto the limited list. See if it does anything. It probably won't. This card just gets negated by everything in the game. People will just Valor it. Setting it's not safe. Morphing Jar hasn't seen play, so Cyberjar probably won't either. We might see some cool combo decks. Book of Taiyu, maybe. I don't know if we will, but we might. Mecha Phantom Beast O-Lion. Okay, I've got a deck profile that's going to be coming out in the next week or so that utilizes Mecha Phantom Beast O-Lion, and it also utilizes Mystic Mine. It's a deck that I was a little hesitant to talk about until the ban list was announced. And now that the ban list is announced, I'm going to be talking about it. So if you're a current player and you're watching this and you want to see something cool with Mecha Phantom Beast O-Lion, I'm going to be posting a deck profile with it in the next week or so, more or less. Substitute. Now this is another big one for Edison. The reason this card is getting unlimited. Let's be real. With Ronin Totem gone, Substitute is still a busted card, but it gets stopped by almost every single hand trap. And without Ronin Totem, there's no real way to truly abuse it without overloading your deck with like shitty frogs. Substitute is also one of the most expensive cards in Edison format right now, one of the most inflated cards. And the fact that it's coming off the ban list means that Konami is going to reprint it, which is huge. It's huge for Edison players. If you've wanted to play Frogs, one of the more budget decks of the format, but have seen a barrier of entry as Substitute, now rejoice. This is actually really good for you. If you're an Edison player, it's going to mean you're going to be able to build more decks more affordably because Substitute is going to get reprinted. Without a doubt. Without a doubt in my mind, Substitute will be reprinted in the very near future because now it is legal and players are going to want access to it, more or less. Okay, spell card, spell card, spell card. Spellbook of Judgment, this was an OCG change. It changed absolutely nothing. Not worth mentioning. A Pointer of the Red Lotus. This card is another trap card I think should have just been banned. This card is basically Trap Dust Shoot, but better in Modern Yu-Gi-Oh! You don't really care if your opponent gets the card back next turn because Modern Yu-Gi-Oh! Games last one turn. So this is Trap Dust Shoot that takes any card, and it's just not fair. It's a not fair card. I think it should be banned. Konami should be looking at a lot of these trap cards. Like, why is Trap Dust Shoot banned, but A Pointer of the Red Lotus legal at 1? It doesn't make any sense. A Pointer of the Red Lotus is just better Trap Dust Shoot in the context of modern format. It doesn't make any sense. If anything, they should unlimited or unban Trap Dust Shoot and then, ban Red Lotus and then reprint Trap Dust Shoot for fucking old format players because Trap Dust Shoot is like an $8 card or some shit. It's really annoying. Okay, everything else. Look at the unlimits. We got Dynamite Knight, the True Draco Fighter, no longer on the list. I don't know what that card does. I'm not going to read it. I'm going to be real. I play Edison. I don't give a shit about this card. Cyber Angel Ben 10 was semi-limited, is now unlimited. That's a little sus. That's a little sus. I thought the card was too powerful at 2 for Drytron. I thought it was a little too powerful at 2. Having it go to 3 is a little sus. Shooting Riser Dragon going to 3 makes sense with the Hauki Fibrax ban and the Snow ban. That's totally fine. I still think this card will be exploited in the future. There are lots of ways to exploit this card that, people have yet to explore because they've been focusing on Snow, but there was no difference between 1 and 3 at the... it doesn't make any sense. At 1 and 3 doesn't make any sense. Fusion Destiny was semi-limited, now to 3. Actually really happy about this. Fusion Destiny and Destiny Hero Phoenix Enforcer is a really cool package that some decks can just start including now, and I'm happy to see it go to 3. Nadir Servant, very happy to see this go to 3. I really like the Dogmatica cards. I really like the Albaz stuff. I really like the value that this card brings to the format, and it does have a very serious restriction in that it doesn't let you go into the extra deck. So I'm pretty happy to see it come back to 3. Wall of Revealing Light to 3 makes sense. Trickstar Light Stage to 3 makes sense. What does this all mean for Edison format? It means the ban list kind of fucking sucks. Let's be real. They didn't hit Tearlament at all. They didn't hit Mystic Mine at all. People are going to get really fucking sick of that really quick, and more people are going to play Edison format. And that's great. That's awesome, actually. For me, personally, that's great. And for a lot of reasons, it's great. I think Edison's a really fun format, and I think it's a really good time to get into it. It's a really, really good time to get into it because I'm going to talk about this a little bit in my video tomorrow. Tomorrow's video is going to be like top 20 tech cards for Edison format and whatnot. In the video tomorrow, I'm going to be talking about how homogeneous metagame is actually really good for new players because they can start trying out new things. They can start trying out new techs, and they can attack the format from like an outside player's perspective, from someone who is like, oh, I want to break this. I really want to attack this format. So I think it's a really good time for new players to get into the game because homogeneous formats are good for new players. They can either learn the deck that everyone is playing and then attack it, or they can learn the deck that everyone's playing and play it themselves. So I think it's going to be a really, really good time for new players to get into this. In any case, if you guys want more Edison format stuff because you're sick of the fucking current format, if you don't like it, if you don't enjoy it, I got a whole channel full of it. So make sure and subscribe, check it out, check out all the content. There's tons of guides on here. There's tons of stuff. If there's any indication from the LA regional that happened recently, there was 100, I can't even speak. Okay, let me restart the sentence, I'm trying to do this in one take. No edits, I never edit that shit. No, I'm just kidding. At the LA regional, there was an Edison side event, and 100 people showed up. So if that's any indication for how big Edison is going to get in the near future with a kind of mediocre, current format ban list, don't take that lightly. Definitely come check it out. Pull up to the side events at your YCS. Pull up to the side events at your regional, and who knows, we might even get an Edison format regional. We might even get an Edison format YCS or just large tournament. You never know. Okay, see you guys in the next vid. Peace out.